Have you ever wanted your own studio easel? Well, I did a thing. I made my very own DIY studio easel, and I'm going to show you today how I did it from start to finish. Let's go.
Completed in the wire cutting area.
Neil and I went to our local big box hardware store. This is where I usually go to get my pre-cut lumber for my DIY canvas frames. For this project, we grabbed 8 1x2x4 pre-cut poplar wood. In the hardware section, we grabbed 4 large bolts, washers, and wing nuts for this project. After gathering all that we needed, plus some wall anchors, it came out to $66.10 before taxes. I'm so excited to create my double mast H-frame wall easel. I will tell you more about how you can get those plans later in the video to create your own easel. Back home, I laid everything out. I grabbed some cut up old t-shirts for staining the wood. And here are the fender washers, bolts, and wing nuts. We also picked up some heavy-duty wall anchors or toggles, and I have my plans nearby. Step 1, stain the wood. This step is optional, of course, but I do this to all of my frames, so I already had some stain on hand. And I honestly think it will look nicer up on the wall. Using old rags for this or a cut-up t-shirt, stain all of the pieces of wood. I always wear disposable gloves to keep my hands clean. I only stained 3 sides and the ends, knowing that the back side would not be seen and I didn't want to waste the stain. When I was done, I let them dry while Neil and I ate some lunch. Step 2, create the wall base and masts. After lunch, I returned to lay out the boards to create the wall base and the double masts of the H-frame easel. These masts will allow the canvas carriers to adjust. For this, I needed wood glue, paper towel, 1 of the bolts, 16 finishing nails, a pencil, a hammer, and a tape measure. If you have a nail gun, you could always save time and use one. I don't, so I used finishing nails and they worked just as well. I measured and marked 16 inches from both ends of the base wood, both top and bottom. Since I am making a double mast H-frame, I added 4 pieces of wood on top of the base to create the 2 masts. Working from the inside out, I lined the first piece of wood up to the line. After adding wood glue, I nailed in 2 finishing nails and repeated this 4 times around the H-frame. Once those were in place, I used the bolt to make sure that I had enough room for it to move up and down in between the 2 boards. I measured the space for the outside piece of wood, making sure that it was the same in all 4 places. I marked a line with the pencil as well and used 2 finishing nails to hold it in place. I always made sure that it was flush and level to the baseboard underneath. I repeated this 4 times. Let me show you again close up. As you can see, the gap in between the 2 boards needs to be wide enough so that the larger bolt can fit in between. I used the paper towel to clean up any glue that spilled out. Step 3, add the canvas carriers. Adding the canvas carriers will involve a drill and drill bits. I used a 1/4 drill bit to match my 1/4 bolt. Before I drilled anything, I lined the canvas holders up to the double masts to make sure that they lined up properly. I marked where the bolt hole should go for both masts. Once the canvas carriers were marked, Neil held down the boards while I drilled through both the top and bottom canvas carriers at the same time. Using the fender washers and wing nuts, we attached the 4 bolts to the top and bottom canvas carriers. This was the best part because I knew we were almost finished. Step 4, drill wall holes into the base. Step 5, attach it to the wall. I held it this time while Neil fastened the screws into the wall with a drill. I added a canvas straight away and voila, a new double mast H-frame wall easel. I am beyond excited. I cannot wait to create some artwork for a new collection. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you want my plans for this easel, you can grab them for free in the description below. In my next video, I will give you a studio tour now that I have made room for my new easel. So be sure to watch that next.
Will be snorting at, huh? What are you snorting at? You snorter.